Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to study PHP Basics Part 2. So in the previous topic, as the first topic of the PHP, we already studied how to declare variables in PHP and how to use some operations. And we also learned how to make conditional statements using if and else and else if. So in this topic, we will continue to study the basics. Particularly, we will learn how to develop a loop using PHP and how to develop functions. And also, although we have developed similar programs already, we will learn more details about how to handle forms combined with HTML. So let's start with the loop first. So looping is a kind of logic that you want to repeat in your program. So if there is any blocks of logics you want to repeat, you may not want to write down same statements again and again. Instead, you will make a pattern of one block statements and then you will repeat it using a loop. For example, in this code, we use while as a loop statements. If you use while is combined with one condition. So inside the parenthesis, you add a condition, and this condition is called the stopping condition. So as far as the condition inside this parenthesis is true, you are going to repeat a block of code. A block of code, we have used the similar syntax for the conditional statements, and it is enclosed by curly brace. So in this red block, this describes if the condition is true inside this parenthesis, we want to repeat these two lines of codes as a block. Okay, so now if you look at this code inside the curly brace, we have one echo statement. So it says the number is, and it's concatenation. So you remember the period is concatenation. So the number is a one text, and it's followed by $i. So what is this $i? Yes, this is variable. So a certain value must be stored in this variable. And then it is combined with, it is concatenated with the HTML code. That's BR tag. So we add line break after this one line statements. So after then, we have one more line. And here in this line, what we are doing, same variable $i, but there is two plus signs. So in the previous topic, we learned about this operation. It's incremental operation. So it will increase the value of I, and this new value, the increased value, will be updated. So it will update the old value. So for example, if I was 1, with this operation, the new value 2 will be stored in I. Okay, now we understand the kind of general structure of this. Now let's look at some more details, how it works. So at the beginning of this PHP code, there is a variable $i, and we assign the specific value 1 in this variable. So what's the value of I right now after this line? It is 1. Now, in this while loop, we will check the condition, right? So inside the parenthesis, what's the current value of I? It is 1. So is it less than or equal to 5? Yes, it's true. So while this condition is true, what we are going to do, we will repeat this logic inside this curly brace block. So the block will be executed. So what would be the output? With the echo statements, you will print out, the program will print out the number is, what's the value? Still, the value is 1 for I. So the output would seem to be, the number is 1, and with line break. And then I, the value, would be increased by 1 with this increment operation. So what would be the result of this line? The new value, 2 2 will be assigned in I. Then are you going back to where? Inside this while loop. So it's this block, this loop will be repeating, right? So now with the new value I equals 2, the condition will be checked one more time. So now with this I equals 2, is it still less than or equal to 5? Yes, it's true. So you will go into this curly brace block again, and then you will echo the number is it still 1? No, now the value is 2, remember? So the number is 2, and with line break, the output will be printed. And then next line, again with this increment operation, I is right now 2. So with this increment operation, the new value 3 will be now assigned to I. Now let's go back to while condition. 3 is less than or equal to 5. So the number is 3. Now with this line, I is now 4. So with the 4, you will check the condition. Still it's less than or equal to 5. So number is 4. Finally now I is 5 with this increment operation. 5 is still less than or equal to 5. So the number is 5. So far we wrote down 5 lines. The number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now your number I is updated to 6. With 6, the condition 6 is less than or equal to 5 is false. So when the condition is false, we will not run this loop anymore and either exit. So that's how this loop works. So let's test it, and you may better understand it. Okay, after you log in, as we have done before, your home directory, and then under your home directory, you must have a public HTML, and under public HTML, you already have M4T1, M4T2. So as a new working directory, let's create a directory and name it as M4T3. So now under M4T3, so let's enter this directory. We will create several new PHP files. So we are testing while loop. So let's create a new file, and then let's name it as simply while.php. Now let's edit this file. Select, right-click, view, edit. Okay, so we are going to edit while.php, and as I have done before, I will just copy this basic structure. So here, let me start from here. HTML and the body tag and the PHP block here. And inside the PHP block, we are going to test the loop. So there are two parts. The first one is, first we need to initialize a variable that will be used as a kind of a counter, because this will be increased as like a counter, and at a certain point it will give the while loop a stop condition. So let me add a command, and let's say initialize the counter variable. So what is the counter variable? We set it as I. So all variables start with the $, and I, that is the variable, and we set this as 1. So 1 is the initial value, so it's initialized. And then following this initialization, we are going to set a while loop. So start while loop. So while loop starts here. So what is the syntax? While, and then while has some conditions, right? So we have these conditions, and there is a block that you are going to repeat. So this is kind of general structure. And as a condition, what we are gonna do is we wanna test the value of I. So that is the $I. And we wanna repeat this 5 times. And we add this condition like less than or equal to 5. So what this means, we will allow to run this loop from I equals to 1 to 5. But if the value of I exceeds, for example, 6, then we will stop this loop. Now, what's gonna be the logic inside? So what will be the loop statements? We will make it simple. So let's say echo, and let's say the number is, and then we want to concatenate this with actual value. So let's say $i, the value is concatenated, but this would be the part of HTML. So if you do not explicitly add line break, you will just keep writing this same sentence in one line. So it may be a good idea to add a HTML text that's line break. So BR tag we want to add here, and don't forget each statements, each PHP statements will be closed by semicolon. Many times students miss this semicolon, and either cause a syntax error. So every sentence, don't forget to close it with a semicolon. If you do not change the value of I, this loop will be endless loop, because I will be just one and it will run forever. So therefore, you must change the value of I and of these echo statements. So we are going to use incremental operation. Let's say $, and I, and then with the 2+, we increase this value by 1. And again, don't forget, semicolon must close these statements. Okay, so that's it. So that's our the first loop example, and let's test it. So I will save it, and then go back to your FileZilla, upload it. So let's test in your browser. What's the address? https valhalla.sourcevalue.edu and M4T. Now, what's the directory? 3. And under M4T3, we are testing while.php. So you can see this result. The number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the same echo statements has been repeated how many times? 5 times. So if you look at the source code, let's see the source code. So I will write down, right click, and let's look at page source. And you can see this is the HTML code printed. So the number is 1, and then BR tag. Why there is BR tag? Because we added this in echo statements. The number is 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the body part, and you can see this HTML is again generated by the PHP engine installed in the Valhalla server, and it was sent back to your browser, and you show this contents in your web page.